Hello and welcome to Into the Blue Channeling with myself, your host, Sarah Evans. I'm so thrilled that you've made it this week. And to all those that might be listening for the first time, perhaps, welcome. To just introduce myself briefly, I am an Akashic Records reader. I'm also a yoga teacher, a Reiki master, um, general medium, and a healer. I could go on. But this podcast, I go into my Akashic records in order to channel messages, primarily from the Pleiadians, the Pleiadian group of nine, but also from invited guests. It tends to be of a multi-dimensional nature in particular, and today's episode is no different. I'm wearing purple, the divine feminine colour, in her honour of today's guest, and it's such a thrill that she's already around. It's such a thrill to be channeling these messages for you today. I am getting over a bit of a cough at the moment, so if it seems like there's some cuts, I'm trying to cut out any coughing from this episode to not to get in the way. But yes, my throat chakra is active. Before getting started as well, I wanted to just briefly touch on my own innate abilities because obviously I'm an Akashic Records reader and I love to read the Akashic Records of whoever is interested in a reading from me. But before that, I have also been clairvoyant and clairaudient. In fact, it came up as a topic of conversation the other day with a friend, and she said, "You should put this in the podcast." Okay, so here's the story, really briefly. Because I've always had these abilities, and I just didn't realize what they were until more recently. But anyway, so going back in time to like 2021, so I got developed long COVID and got very chronically ill. I was in bed a lot, having a lot of bed rest and things like that. And during this process, I would hear from my grandparents in spirit. And I would literally be having a conversation with my grandmother or grandfather. Sometimes my aunt would come in and I would be conversing with them. And for the longest time, I was just like, I just didn't know if this was my imagination or what was happening, but it felt quite real. So one day I decided, darn it, I'm just going to book an appointment with a medium and just see if I get any confirmations around this. I didn't even call it confirmations at the time because I didn't know that's what it was. But I'm just like, I'm going to book an online session with a medium. Shout out to Julie, by the way. She was the medium I went to, and now we're friends. She was my florist for my wedding. Anyway, I digress. So I booked a session with Julie. It was just on WhatsApp video. We were still actively in the pandemic and everything. And Julie, she looks at me and she says, "So I have your grandfather here, and he's saying to me, it's not your imagination. We are speaking to you." And that was the confirmation that I needed. And then how I found, okay, one more story, and then we'll crack on with the channeling. But how I found the Akasha is also interesting because it was around Christmas time, and I was listening to a podcast. I often, while I'm cooking, I will often listen to a podcast while I'm in the kitchen. And I was listening to a podcast on a completely unrelated topic. It was about parenting, and so the guest that was on the parenting podcast, she said, "Oh yes, I'm a Akashic Records reader," and she went on to describe a few things about the Akashic Records, and I was just like, I immediately kind of like something just went off in my mind, and I'm just like, I know this. This is important, and I'd never heard the term before. I had no idea what it was, but I immediately I looked her up on Instagram and I messaged her, and she suggested a book to read, and actually I got the book on Kindle, and I was looking through it. It was Linda Howe, by the way. I then went off to train with. But I was looking through the Linda Howe book, and I got so many chills and so many signs while I was reading this book. I was just like, yeah, I mean, I didn't even fully appreciate what was happening at that moment in time, not like I do now. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you because I know that everybody has their own unique gifts and abilities. It might not be as prominent for you, it might be more subtle. They call it subtle light energy for a reason. But it's likely that you're having certain experiences, and I just want to validate that and say it's not your imagination, you're not making it up. Okay, this is a particularly long introduction, but I just wanted to say that. Okay, let's get started. Received a really strong pressure right into the crown chakra today. So I was opening my records. I'm also seeing a lot of visuals going on. It's a very active energy. Now, can I speak with the Pleiadian Group of 9 first, please? They say, we are here and we honor your presence. And they want to honor the presence of everyone who's watching and listening, both for the very first time that they found this transmissions and for those who have been, in their words, glued to the screen for their earlier transmissions. They say, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so pleased to have you here. They're sharing with me that they didn't want to give me any pre-messages. Sometimes they give me an indication of what they wish to speak with, but they wanted me to be a completely open and clear channel for the messaging today. They're saying that they want to tell you, the listener, that you're worthy. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of all the love of the universe. You're appreciating the level of confusion and conflict occurring on the planet right now. Say, be still, keep grounding because you are going to get through this. They're saying that there's a very confusing energy that's trying to disrupt and interfere with the process. If you're feeling during the months of November and December, there's so much coming at you. It's so much noise, so much distraction, so much chaos in the realm of current affairs. They're giving me a sense of feeling really dizzy with this. They said, just please take a breath. In fact, let's all take a breath now. And hold it for a second. Maybe sip in slightly more. And hold it. Relax your belly, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. And when you need to exhale, just blow it out slowly, like blowing out candles. They say, very good. So they want to do this with you to indicate a method of grounding, which is so simple, literally takes a matter of seconds and can really help you at this time. And they're saying anytime you're feeling dizzy, you're feeling confused, you might be feeling concerned about where things are headed, take a breath, return back to the breath. The breath is there to support you all of the time. The irony of needing to cough right now. It's quite immense. It's actually making me want to cry, actually, what they're saying and the love that they're sending to me. They're saying that all beings are worthy of love, including the ones that are causing the confusion, the noise, the suffering. You're saying that the Pleiadians are saying that from their perspective, they offer compassion to every soul on the planet, regardless of what their thoughts are, their behaviors are, regardless of their politics or anything to do with how they live their life. They are all worthy of love and compassion. Okay, they're telling me an important message here that as they zoom out to the perspective that they have, zoom out from the 3D human experience perspective and zoom out into the all that is perspective on this, because it offers so much clarity. Every soul has chosen particular life lessons and to take on a particular role in how things are unfolding. Whether it's the soul of the tree outside your window, the soul of the dog in your neighborhood, the soul of a politician who seems to be saying hateful things. Every soul is here to learn lessons. And actually, the ones that have taken on some of the most difficult contracts are the ones that society is judging right now. Instead, they urge you to try and take a step back. It's hard. It's so hard when, from the 3D perspective, it seems really clear that there are goodies and baddies. There's people who are doing really nice things and people who are not seeming to be doing nice things. But we're all here to move humanity forward. And in fact, those who are causing the most disruption are doing an important role to awaken the masses. This is all vital and important. They are saying instead of criticizing, instead of judging, try to offer compassion. And they're saying it's a little ironic given the guest today, as this was one of the main teachings that Yeshua was telling people during his lifetime, which is one of unity rather than division, and one of compassion and care to all people. Love thy neighbor. And by offering love and compassion, it doesn't need to be any grand gestures. You can simply send a loving thought towards them. Okay? They're showing me that there's the metta loving kindness meditation where you send loving thoughts towards somebody. So you can send loving thoughts towards somebody who doesn't seem aligned with you. And the Pleiadians are saying this, the sense of alignment, this is the important thing. They're suggesting instead of making judgments, saying this person is good, this person is bad, this thing is good, this thing is bad. Rather, they're saying come into your heart center, focus in on you and how you're feeling about something. And rather than thinking judgment thoughts, you can simply think, is this in alignment or is this out of alignment for me? So you can walk into a cafe and you kind of look around and feel, yes, this feels in alignment. I enjoy being here. I feel good and safe here. Versus you walk into a space where there's somebody there and you immediately feel off and not right around them. And you can just come back to yourself and think, yes, I'm not in alignment here. And they say simply you can just send them some love and turn around and walk away. It's as simple as that. They encourage you as we are moving towards this new earth to get out of these divisions and these black and white notions, which are also of three-dimensional consciousness. Because nothing is actually truly good or truly bad. Everything, everything is actually living in the grey. And particularly as we are bouncing around all these different timelines, so much is in flux right now. So actually, your opinion on something might evolve anyway. And you can just take a reading, and you can take a daily reading on a particular topic and be like, this is in alignment, or this is not in alignment. Okay. They want to say that they're going to step back in a moment because there's somebody that I have been connecting with that would like to come through to speak with you all at this time. They say thank you for listening. They keep smiling. Things will get better. And you can, in fact, return back to this transmission or any of the transmissions that the Pleiadians have offered if you ever need any solace. In the meanwhile, focus on your breath and focus on things that you know help you with stress and dis-ease. Maybe you know that listening to music is a stress reliever. Maybe you know that getting out into nature, visiting the beach, visiting a nature trail is a stress reliever. It might be the company of a particular friend or a pet. Whatever is your stress relievers, please do lean upon them, they say. Stress relievers that are particularly non-screens based are great. They're taking a step back now. Okay, so I'm now present with Mary Magdalene. Funnily enough, she's wearing a very similar colour to the dress that I'm wearing. I see her, it's interesting, because I know she's got links with Egyptian ties, but she does seem, certainly from what she's portraying herself as here, to be a little olive-skinned, but not too different from me, really. She has dark hair and it's like wavy, and she has a headdress piece over her hair. Is it a veil? She says you can call it that. And she's wearing like long flowing garments that are purple, but also like a light bluey grey. She's actually brought a gift. She's offering a chalice gift. Don't know why I'm saying the name of chalice, but that's she wants to offer you some nourishment from her chalice. Thank you. So thank you so much for coming in. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. She says the honor is all mine. She's grateful for the opportunity to come through and channel her message through me. Thank you. That's lovely. She's saying that if anyone has any prior notions of her, to lay them to one side. The biblical stories that were written about her are mainly incorrect. She's actually showing me a manuscript. She's showing me her own writings and things that were written about her that were deliberately kept from being in the biblical texts. Okay. Right, well, having a fresh slate, everybody. Let's see what you have to say. She's actually asking me if she can come more thoroughly into me for this channeling, and I've, yes. 1 second. Hello, I am Miriam Magdalena. I'm so happy to be in your presence today. I bring you so much love and care, and offer you a closer relationship with Source, or all that is. I am known as this particular lifetime as Mary Magdalene. But in fact, I have had a great number of lifetimes, both earth-based and in other realms. My lifetime that you are most familiar with was one of such nourishment and love. I formed a beautiful union with my husband, Yeshua, more commonly known as Jesus. We had 5 children. In fact, our first daughter was named Sarah. We had a wonderful union despite the hardships and persecution. We were both persecuted against because of our spirituality and our learnings. Yeshua always valued me as an equal counterpart, which was unusual in that moment in time. But we nourished each other and supported each other, gave great energy towards each other's endeavors. But I'm not here to talk primarily about him. I'm here to talk about my perspective. Some of you are aware of my own teachings, my own learnings as a priestess of Isis. I was priestess of the teachings of Isis and Horus, and it's those that are most useful to transmit to you now. In fact, one of my adornments was a serpentine arm jewelry. It was a serpent in honor of my beliefs. But Romans and other people of that time considered this to be, it was confusing to them. And they didn't understand me. It's okay. Many, many people understand me now, and many more will. It's this serpentine nature that I wanted to transmit to you today. You have so much power within yourself. Use it. Use it. You have so much innate power in your own energetic body. If you're open to it, I wish to instruct you through a method that has been channeled through others before, but it's worth revisiting. So, if you're willing to try, please ensure that you are in a seated position with your feet firmly planted. I want you to focus on your breathing and ensure that your breathing is nice and deep and slow. Sensing the breath going into your body, sensing the breath leaving your body. Breath is the life force, also known as prana. And it's this life force that we're going to be using. So on the next breath, I want you to, as you're breathing in, focusing on the pelvic bowl. I'm telling you to sit down because it's easier to focus on that from a seated position because you feel that support of the chair on which you're sitting. I want you to breathe into the pelvic area. And on your out breath, imagine that you're sending the breath, the energy all through the pelvis, into the hips, into the front, the pubic bone, into the back, where the spinal cord begins. With every breath, we are breathing in energy and nourishing the pelvic bone, the pelvic bowl, the cradle of creation. If it's useful to imagine a color, you can imagine it filling with golden light. Every breath, you're sending in more and more power. You're waking up this area. Waking up the serpents, known more commonly these days as Kundalini. Keep breathing into your pelvis, breathing in more energy, and then on exhale, letting the energy swirl around in the pelvic region. Couple more breaths like this, filling up the awareness, keeping the energy, the awareness present. And one more in breath. And on the exhale, I want you to imagine the energy rising up through the chakra system, rising up, 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 up through the crown of the head and out. So an inhale, we're coming into the pelvis, and an exhale, we're sending the energy, the focus up, 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 up through the head and beyond. Keep going. Imagining you're sending the energy. You might feel the energy. Perfect if you do. It's also completely fine if you don't feel anything in your physical body. That's fine. A few more breaths like this. We're sending the energy up through the chakra system, up, 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 out of the head. That's great. That's step one. If you feel like you wish to continue, we're going to send the energy directly into the chalice in the brain, the pineal gland, it is known as. So again, I wish for you to inhale into the pelvic area, and on exhale, we're filling every space of the pelvis, bringing in energy and holding the energy there. If it's helpful, you can imagine on the exhale, you're pushing down into the seat. Keep going. I promise no harm can be done to you. But if it does feel like this exercise gives you a headache, then feel free to return to it a different time. Collecting that energy in the whole cradle of creation in the pelvis area. Awakening the serpentine energy that exists within every one of us. Keep building. Couple more breaths, filling the bowl with as much golden light energy as possible. Okay, this time I want for you to send the energy upwards. You can be up the spinal column. But on the next exhale, just letting the energy flow up, up, up into the head, and then filling in into the center of the head, center of the brain. So breathing in, and like a pump with the exhale, the energy is soaring up and filling up into the very center of the brain. So a few more times, we're sending the energy on the exhale up the spinal column. Let it overflow into a pot, to the cup, right in the center of your head. Couple more times. Up and over. You're filling up your pineal gland, starting the process of activation, of allowing it to work as thoroughly for you as it's possible to. Let us take a moment here to just feel any sensations. You can breathe normally. Feel any sensations that you're experiencing. Some people will notice that in their line of sight they are seeing a different color. It might be a turquoise or aquamarine color. It could also be violet or white, the line of vision. Just enjoy the experience of whatever it is that you're experiencing. You're feeding your energetic body into what we called the Eye of Horus. The ancient Egyptians were utilizing much learnings from the multidimensionals, of which I am one. I wish to give many more channeled messages of this nature via Sarah. So this might be the end of the transmission for today, but I do enjoy working here and I will return. I ask you to call upon me anytime you need empowerment. This is a wonderful moment. We're stepping into capabilities of the feminine. And I'm coming in to support this process as much as I am able. Thank you so much for listening. I send you so much peace. Thank you. Okay. Okay, that's the end of the session for today. Whoa, I'm feeling very lightheaded. Thank you so much for watching. I probably had some other things I wanted to mention on the recording, but it's all gone out of my head, so I'll speak to you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to Into the Blue Channeling. Please do like and subscribe to receive about our upcoming episodes. See you next time.